Podcasts are everywhere, especially with all this pandemic stuff, right? My wife and I started a podcast called The Simple Faith Podcast in April, and we haven't looked back. The chances are, if you're watching this, you have either started one and want to up the production value, or you're thinking about starting one. And that's probably why you might be asking the question, should I buy a Rode Podmic? Well, let's talk about it, and most importantly, let's hear how it sounds. The Rode Podmic is pretty nifty looking. It's extremely well priced, and it really packs a punch. On Rode's website, it boasts about its pretty wide frequency range, broadcast quality dynamic capsule, its internal pop filter to minimize plosives, and its robust all-metal construction. But if you're in the market for your first ever microphone, you might not understand some of those things. And you know what? That's okay. Let's talk about it in normal English. Firstly, the Podmic really does look great, and it's heavy, which is, in my mind, a good thing. It feels more premium than the price tag suggests, thanks to that robust metal construction that it talks about on the website. It's got an XLR output, and although it's pretty good at picking up a whole range of sounds, it's really designed primarily for speech, like voiceovers and podcasts and stuff like that. This is where it really excels. Let's take a look. Okay, so I've got the Podmic connected to the Zoom H4n. The gain setting is actually pretty high. It's on 84, so it's quite high. But this is what it sounds like. Let me know what you think. I'm testing the mic now. Obviously, I'm holding it right now, so you might hear some pops and stuff like that if I hit the bottom. But it's pretty good. As I'm talking, I think the quality sounds really good. If I move it to the side, it's still pretty good as well. But if I turn it round, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you can hear it's really directional. So you have to be right in front of it. So there you go. Okay, so let's talk about plosives quickly. You might not have heard of plosives before, and again, that's okay. Basically, when you talk, your mouth pushes out air, and certain sounds push out more air than others. For example, the letter P is particularly bad. Think of words like paper or park or plosives even. You get the idea. The problem is that air can disrupt the microphone and cause unhelpful pops. We saw this in last week's review of the H4n Pro, so have a quick look at that. Now, I'm cautious to make sure that it's at the side of my mouth because the air makes the plosives not sound great. Look, listen. Plosive. That doesn't sound good. Now, Rode's website boasts about an internal pop filter to minimize those plosives, but the big question is it any good? Well, it's okay, but it's definitely not perfect. Listen to this. Yes, pop, plosives. You can see that they're really pretty potent, those pops. Sharia, my wife, and I have 2 of these microphones to record our show together, and I have to tell you that because of the plosives issue, they were very difficult to use as they were. We had to make sure that our breath didn't point directly into the mic, kind of like this, which isn't a huge problem, but it can get really frustrating as time goes on, especially when you're trying to have a conversation and things like that. If you're looking to buy a Podmic, I strongly recommend buying one of these pop shields. They make a big difference. They kind of just go on the top like this. We also bought some mini microphone stands, which you can see here. We really love those. They just go on the table, as you can see. And here's what it sounds like with the pop shield on. Okay, the pop shield is on. Let's try some pretty plosives. Peanut butter, parkour, Penelope, pit stop. I don't know. Now I'm going to do some talking and I'm going to add some processing in just a minute. Okay, so today I am welcoming you to a pretend podcast all about The Office, the best TV show ever made. I'm going to add some processing now. The Office is my favorite show because I love Dwight Schrute and I love the pranks that Jim plays on Dwight Schrute. Now let's use a really radio voice. And now, calling Dwight Schrute. I don't know why I said that, but you can see the processing makes a real difference on here as well. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. But the raw audio, I think, is really good. Okay, so that's the end of the test. Hope you found that helpful. How would I rate the Podmic? Well, I think it's awesome. I think it's perfect for what we're using it for podcasts and things like that. It feels and sounds like it's worth way more than it really is, and it looks great too. The internal pop filter is not good, but that's an easy fix. The XLR connector is what most traditional microphones use. You probably know that. And it's brilliant if you already own an audio interface of some sort. So we use the Zoom H4n Pro that we talked about earlier. But if you don't own an interface of any kind, you might want to consider a USB microphone like the Blue Yeti, which is around the same price, and it's a pretty solid bet for podcasting and voice work too. If you're looking for something kind of top of the range, consider the Shure SM7B. It's about 4 times the price, but it is a monster. It's so good. However, if you're just starting out, then here's the thing. I couldn't recommend the Rode Podmic any more highly, but hey, I'm interested to hear your thoughts too. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And you know the deal. If you found this video helpful, I would love it if you could give me a thumbs up. And if you want to watch more reviews in the future, I would be so grateful if you'd choose to subscribe. So that's it from me today. Consider getting the Rode Podmic. Have an amazing week, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.